Here we go again, folks. Seriously, enough. You know, the liberals are out there somehow blaming Trump for the shit that happened in Virginia because of a bunch of other people. Then he didn't say something, so they want to criticize him for that. Look, I'm no big Trump supporter, but give the man his time. Let him do his thing. Because I tell you what, when Black Lives Matter and stuff was going out there burning down cities, looting things, nobody blamed Obama. At least I didn't see the huge outcry that I'm seeing now. Somebody painted a swastika on Donald Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They can't tell if it's one of his supporters or someone who hates him. Ha ha ha. Tell y'all something. Trump ain't had nothing to do with what happened in Virginia. Came out and condemned it. Okay, so he didn't word it right. You ever say something out of context? Anybody ever take something you said out of context? Did that make you a racist? What happened in Virginia was absolutely deplorable. And the dude that ran them people over probably needs just to get the death penalty. Because we don't have no place for that in our society. It's kind of sickening. But let's look back on something. Everybody wants to take down these Confederate monuments. Let me tell you something. I never owned any slaves. You never picked any cotton. To sanitize our history? Well, then let's go ahead and take all the presidents' faces right off of the money that we print. Because even Ulysses S. Grant, who never owned slaves, actually supported the institution of slavery. And if you people ever picked up a history book, you know that. It's kind of interesting to me. They want to take down all the Confederate monuments? Okay. They want to sanitize history? They shouldn't have monuments to Confederate soldiers? Then let's take down every memorial to Union troops. In fact, let's stop copies being printed of the movie Glory, which documents the 54th Massachusetts Regiment, the first Union Black Regiment, considering there were several that fought for the South. Sanitizing history don't make it go away. All it does is doom us to repeat. All the left sees are not fascists. All the right sees is communists. And I'm here in the middle wondering how it is you fucking idiots fell for the divide and conquer theory. I mean, are you really that stupid? We have far bigger problems in this country than a couple of statues. And while we're on the subject of statues, why is it that people in North Carolina or South Carolina, I know it was one of the Carolinas, can throw a rope over a monument, public property, tear it down and start kicking it like they're a bunch of fucking insurgents in Iraq, and no one gets arrested? These idiot white supremacist cocksuckers went down to Charlottesville to protest taking down Confederate monuments. They're morons. There's no place for them in this country. Send their asses someplace. Get rid of them. Shoot them for all I give a fuck. Then some idiot plows through a set of protesters who are protesting the protest. I mean, is that what we've come to as a country? People going out and protesting protests? Whether you like it or not, the First Amendment protects what those racist faggots were doing. If you want your right to protest something, then you got to give them their right to protest something. And that's my problem with you fucking liberals. You far left weenies that'll just sit there and like, oh, well, they said something mean, so they shouldn't have the right to do that. Let me tell you something. The Constitution doesn't discriminate anymore. Now that the amendments were put in there. But they have the right to do that. They have the right to go out and spew their bullshit. They have the right to wear fucking, Nazi bullshit. Unfortunately, that is our country. Conversely, you have the right to go out and protest against it. But at the end of the day, protests aren't going to do shit. Politicians like the governor of Virginia saying, you're not welcome here, ain't going to do shit. Because he can't close off the borders to them. Posting the fact that they were a part of that on social media and getting them fired from their jobs, okay, that might have done something. But don't think for 1 second there's not some other organization out there that's going to hire him just because they're racist. Just like all these Black Lives Matter Antifa fucking faggots that can go out and anti-government, anarchy, bunch of goddamn children. go out and do their shit. The only difference, they can't lose their job because they probably didn't have one to begin with. Wake up. America, for the love of God, wake the fuck up. You guys will sit there and talk a big game, and you'll put this little rainbow heartbeat thing on your Facebook profile that says, I won't let hate win. Well, that's good for you. I see that. But at the end of the day, you're really not doing anything. It's like putting the French flag under your profile picture. It doesn't do nothing. Everybody wants to blame Trump for this. Blame Trump, blame Trump, blame Trump. You know, that's pretty sad. You guys are blaming one man for the actions of a group of people that have been around long before he was around. So I guess now we can blame Obama for the Black Lives Matter burning down almost entire towns and looting and shit in Ferguson and Baltimore. All the shit that goes on in Chicago. I put something on my Facebook the other day, and I was talking about, you know, liberal sissified, you know, fucktards blaming Trump for everything, and, you know, this is kind of one of them. Somebody responded with, well, you know, you guys love to blame Obama for stuff, but, you know, it's actually George W. Bush's fault. Man hasn't been in office in over 8 years. Somebody tried to blame him for Katrina, a natural disaster. Well, how about when Obama was in office? The floods that took hold of Baton Rouge and all that, and no response from the President of the United States, who was Obama at that time. Presidents are going to have low spots. The President of the United States currently has not even been in office 8 months. Let that sink in. Hasn't even been in 8 months. And everybody's working against him so hard as a population now, just because they're salty that a murdering, rapist protecting cunt didn't get in the office.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but...
Why? Because she's a woman? Or is it because you people, you liberals, just can't handle the fact that you lost? Oh, well, she won the popular vote. She won the popular vote. So did Nixon against Kennedy. So did Gore against Bush. But that's why we have the Electoral College, because the states that don't have the large concentration of population need to have a voice. You may not agree with it, but it is what it is. You people are a bunch of gassers. That's it. That's all you do is you gas about everything and anything. I'm moving to Canada if Trump wins. Ain't none of you motherfuckers left yet, and I wish you would. Now we got the whole North Korea thing. And Trump, you know, I got to touch on this. Trump came out and said they're going to be met with fire and fury. As well they should. And I'm going to say this. For those of you who have never set foot in that country, never served in the military, never sat through a briefing, or any of that kind of stuff as it pertains to that region of the world, that's all they understand. Kim Jong-un is far worse than his father, Kim Jong-il. Far worse. He doesn't give a shit. He'll launch nukes just to launch nukes because he thinks nobody can touch him. He is so arrogant as to assume that nobody's going to do anything if he does. So we send fighter jets and ships and stuff out to Guam because he's talking about launching a missile into the waters near Guam, which is a U.S. territory, which is kind of like the equivalent of two siblings doing this. Can't get mad, I'm not touching you. Can't get mad, I'm not touching you. The only way that he's going to understand we mean business is to annihilate him. I'm not talking about sanctions and slaps on the wrist the way the liberals would handle it, the way Clinton handled Saddam Hussein, who we later had to go in and, you know, capture and put him on trial and hang him, or Bin Laden, who we had to go in and fucking kill. People like that only understand and only respect swift and violent response. Defeat. That's all they're going to understand is defeat. And the defeat must be so horrible, so finite, and so sound that no other person who experienced it in that region ever wants to buck up again. It is good and well that war is so horrible and awful, lest we come to enjoy it. Not many people know who said that, but it was actually a Confederate general, former Union Colonel Robert E. Lee. It is a necessary evil. And the fact the president actually stood up and said, hey, you mess with us, I'm going to fuck you up, is a far cry from when Obama gave the Iranians millions of dollars because they illegally captured some U.S. soldiers, U.S. sailors. He negotiated with terrorists. It's not something that we do. It's not our policy. But President Obama did it. So the next time you liberals want to go after Trump for something he said, why don't you think back to something that your idiot president actually fucking did?